What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today is April the 22nd. Give you a quick pre-market update over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points, a couple of key ones to watch for today is just Fed speakers, money supply, as well as companies unveiling their earnings. More notably, I think for today is going to be Tesla, and that's done after hours. So we'll have to wait and see what does happen, but so far already pre-market, it is within the top 10 most heavily traded stocks, so big money is definitely paying attention to it. Money supply, though, is coming out at noon, and essentially that could really push Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies higher, as yesterday we started to see, because of the weakening dollar, a flee to Bitcoin. So again, that could really escalate that. So let me know your viewpoint on that in the comments below. Currently, Dow is up 0.84, S&P up 0.82, and NASDAQ up 0.85. So fairly nice recovery from what happened yesterday and what has been happening. So let me know your viewpoint on that. And then the fear and greed index is still under the extreme fear category, improving slightly, but still nonetheless under the extreme fear category. Getting right to it, SoFi is in the green. No news from them today, no SEC filings, so pretty good to see that they are actually recovering. Aside from that, 13.03% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 140.32 million shares. So yesterday they did end up increasing during the late part of the day, second half of the day, roughly around 800,000 shares. So not all that good in that capacity, but I think just generally speaking, SoFi is going to kickstart their FOMO leading into their earnings. So this should make for a very interesting week for them. A couple of key points to watch for though, with it at 1081, trading between this S1 and this S2. So 1091 is going to be a key point to really get over, at least in the short term. Flip side, 996 is going to be the next strong kind of support. And I feel like that is where I will be a buyer more of SoFi back in the single digit. But as far as today goes, seems to be that it wants to move higher. Moving on, OBIO, so Orchestra BioMed, so it is up 29.58% because of this news right here. So it looks like they received FDA breakthrough device designation for AVIM therapy. So as I've expressed in the past, biotechs are not my forte, so you guys do your own due diligence on this one, but this is what they do, so feel free to pause it and read through it if necessary. So it does show healthcare equipment, 70 employees, founded in 2018 and so forth. It's not that heavily shorted, so 2.97% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 500,000 shares. So far, pre-market shorts are returning roughly 1,000 shares, not all that much, but just over the last year, they've really been returning quite a lot, going from about the peak, about 6-7% short interest to where it is now. So always good to see shorts return. Aside from that, couple of key points to watch for. With that 376, it is trading between these 2 points, so this S1 and S2. 361 will be a strong support. 387 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. And given the momentum, it could easily touch many of these, probably even, in fact, run up to this R1 or possibly even R2, if the market does get some pretty good legs behind it. So let me know your viewpoint on that. And then Splash Beverage has been a hot one that a lot of individuals have been really getting in, including a lot of big entities and whatever else. I believe this is the third most heavily traded stock so far this morning. Over the last 5 days, up 89.5%. No news today though, so it's just simply piggybacking off of the broader market and its pre-existing momentum. You don't see shorts doing anything so far this morning, but going into today, 11.81% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 152.89 million shares. So this is exactly what the market does like to squeeze though, somewhat heavily shorted, low float, as well it is on the threshold list, and it has been on the threshold list. It looks as though just one day. So it hasn't been on there for all of that long. So again, something just to keep in mind. But with it at 735, it is trading between this R3 and this R2. 638 is going to be a strong support and if you're going to see any consolidation today, and then 840 is going to be that next strong target slash resistance, followed by 1370. So I think given the momentum and people's appetite for risk somewhat increasing today, I feel like you could see this R3 being touched, but just anticipate a lot of volatility regardless. And Tesla, so Tesla is up slightly. They were hit quite hard yesterday. I did buy at 224, so I didn't catch the bottom exactly, but I think their earnings should be a very crazy roller coaster. Just to give you an overview of some expectations on that, I'll quickly pop this open and go over to here just to give you an overview of what the current implied move is. So implied move for Tesla is 9.24%. So roughly a $21 move is anticipated in either direction. So anticipate some volatility in that regard. And even just looking back at over the last, was it 6 something plus earnings, or 7 earnings, they've only beat essentially, or the market sees it as a beat 2 times. So once again, if history is to repeat itself, that does mean that you will see a little bit of a pullback, but anything is possible in the market. It's a crazy roller coaster. But nonetheless, going into today, 2.74% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 76.7 million shares. So far, pre-market shorts are returning 193,000 shares. So good to see on the day of their earnings, shorts return. A couple of key points to watch for though for today. With it right now at 229, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 226 and then 206 is going to be the support levels. So again, in theory, if Tesla was to miss, you could see this S2 potentially being touched, worst case scenario. But flip side, 260 and then 293 are going to be the next strong target slash resistance points. And then last but not least, Nvidia is getting a lot of volume today. Yesterday, similarly, it just went down a lot. I did buy in at $96.14. So I didn't catch the bottom exactly as well with this one, but still I think honestly long term you can't really go wrong at these prices with Nvidia or also Tesla. But nonetheless, it is at 0.96%. No news, no SEC filings, nothing like that. Shorts are returning 2.1 million shares so far pre-market. 0.99% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 232.25 million shares. Just on a side note, if you are new to the channel, I just like to analyze what shorts are doing, not necessarily because these are squeeze plays, but what is rather interesting with Nvidia is that shorts have been returning quite a lot leading up to pretty much around this time frame, and so that does mean that they feel like there's a lot more upside. That's how I see things, of course. Because there's a lot of available shares, so if they really wanted, they can easily double down, and it is fairly cheap to borrow, to short through IBKR, for instance, or a lot of other brokers. So at the end of the day, I see a lot of this as bullish. But a couple of key points to watch for with it at 97.84. It is trading between this S2 and this S3. So 99.52 is going to be a key kind of target, and most likely if it does have some good momentum today, you could easily see that being touched. Flip side, 91.86 is going to be that next strong support. So let me know your thoughts on these stocks. Is there any other stocks that's floating your boat today? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, if you're looking for some kick-ass buy signals, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.